Alright guys, welcome back to Elden Ring. Before we move on to Caelid proper, we're going to finish up here in the Moonlight Altar, and that is our destination down there. That is a rise with a rather obnoxious puzzle that can glitch on you. Now for the physics flask, we're going to put on the flame shrouding tier and the strength tier as usual, and we're going to dig out a medium shield from the chest. We're not going to use it as a traditional shield though. And then we're going to go to Ashes of War, and we're going to put the Vow of the Indomitable on it. Now for our loadout for this first mini-boss, which you do not have to fight by the way, you'll want the pulley crossbow as your main weapon. You don't have to use this next weapon. It is something you can utilize, however, but it's something with Flame of the Redmans on it, and ours is the falchion. Then you're going to want your staff, and we're switching to the golden order seal now, and we want the shield that we just put the Vow of the Indomitable on, rot bolts and blood bolts. For talismans, you must have the concealing veil and the arrow's reach talisman, and for the others we're just going to put on the kindred of rot exaltation and the blood exaltation. For consumables, we're going to have a rot pot available and the volcano pots. And we're going to throw in some kukris just in case. Now the reason we're using all of this is we're going to cheese this mini-boss. And in order to inflict damage, you're going to want things from range. It's one of those red wolves that you fought in Re Lucaria. However, this one is highly scaled for this area, which is a mid-game area, I would say. So he's going to cause a lot more damage to you. And this is the safest and most effective way of cheesing it. You want to head down, avoid these dragons. This is not how to train your dragon, and our name is not Hiccup, so we're not riding this dragon to victory. So we are going down this way. Now, when you get down here, you need to stop and cast Unseen Form so you don't have to deal with these crystallians. You don't want to get a disc in your back. Now, when you get past this last crystallian, take a sharp left immediately when you get into this next area. Those 3 pavilions house many smithing stones that are of high value. We want those smithing stones, but if you inch a little too close, you'll see there's a red wolf that will spawn. If you go too fast, the red wolf will aggro. This is why you need Concealing Veil. And I would recommend to just jump up this spire here. It's not hard to get up here. Just keep doing mini jumps. You're 100% safe from its melee attacks. However, you're not safe from the beams, the magic beams that it shoots. This is where Vow of the Indomitable will come in. It will give you 100% invincibility for 1 second. That's enough time, if you time it right, to avoid the beams. So we want to aggro the wolf first. We're going to put on all of our buffs. And just try to aggro it first. Any amount of rot you can inflict right away is good, because we're going to use a rot pot to inflict the rot. But as you can see there, we used the shield. Whenever you see the beams coming at you, activate the Ash of War on the shield. See right here, you'll see it walking away at some point. And once it's rotted, then we can move on to the next step, which is bleeding it. And we're going to switch the Concealing Veil, we don't need it anymore, and we're going to put on the Ritual Sword Talisman for even more damage. You want to always have the shield ready to go, so we're one-handing the pulley crossbow, and just always watch what the wolf is doing. If he puts out those beams like this, just get ready to time it. It'll go right through you. If he activates the beams right underneath you, then you don't have to worry about it, because it won't hit you. But anything on the outside, you have to be careful. We're switching to our volcano pots now. We're just trying to hit it any way we can. Volcano pots or the Flame of the Redmanes is a good option. But by using Flame of the Redmanes, you're opening yourselves up for attack. Because you want to have Vow of the Indomitable available. But if you find an open opportunity, you can use Flame of the Redmanes as well. And this is pretty much it. You can just wait for it to die from rot, or you can just keep throwing pots at it, or whatever you want to do. It pretty much can't touch you. But if it jumps up like this, you have to be very careful. There's a super beam that it'll shoot right there. And I actually timed that one perfectly. But yeah, this is definitely a consistent strategy for cheesing this Redwolf. And I really don't like fighting these things. They're not that hard to kill using the Nox Flowing Sword, but I wanted to find a cheese method for it, and here you go. That was just a snap. Alright. Now we can loot the area safely. Now this area has 6 Smithing Stone 7s and 3 Smithing Stone 8s. So really high level Smithing Stones. And we'll need to get some of our weapons to plus 25 before facing some of the harder bosses. The first weapons I want to get to plus 25 are both of my blood falchions with seppuku on them, and I want to get the iron ball to plus 25 as well. We still need to make our way down there to that annoying puzzle, and make sure to cast Unseen Form to avoid the Clerstellians again. You can actually cast on horseback. I didn't know that at first, but you can actually cast Unseen Form while on horseback. I keep getting off, not realizing you could do that. But yeah, this puzzle will glitch on you. You have to do it without fast traveling, but you'll want to fast travel because of how far away the turtles are. Unfortunately, you can't do that. You have to do it without fast traveling. And that's why it will glitch on you if you do that. Or it'll just reset. But the turtle should have still been there and it never was. So you cannot use fast travel if you want to complete this puzzle. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. But definitely get the grace. Now for this puzzle, you're going to want a bow or crossbow that has the best range. For us, since we're using crossbows, it's going to be the black key crossbow. We have not used this crossbow yet, but we got it in the round table hold underneath the blacksmith, if you remember. But this has the best range of any crossbow in the game, and we'll want it for this part. We're going to go ahead and mark the locations of the turtles. One of them's over here. One's way over here. And the third one is kind of close to us on the left over here of the map. Why they did this puzzle like this, I'll never know. They should have let you fast travel, but no. You have to go in one fell swoop without fast traveling across this large expanse. Make sure you read the clue, get the title card, and start the puzzle. The first turtle is over here. And I'm going to get the best reaching bolts I can get. Well, better than the bone ones. Don't use bone bolts of any kind. You'll want regular bolts to get better range. One turtle down. The next turtle is far away. Far, far away. So you have to get on Torrent and just ride to our next location. And this is where you're definitely going to want the longest reach out of your crossbow or bow you could possibly get. And the arrow's reach talisman. Just stick close to the edge of the cliff and you'll run into it. Some people could have spent hours looking for these turtles nearby because of all the rises in the game. This is the only one that I've seen that spread the turtles out so far. So, yeah, most people would just be looking for the turtles real close by, and they're not close by. So, your next turtle is over here. Get your best range you can get and give him a shot. But with our setup, we can hit him from here. And now this is the turtle that glitched on me. Because I fast traveled to get closer to it, but you can't do that. You want to go where you fought Black Knife Tish. Do not fast travel. You cannot fast travel to any areas. Don't do it. Just follow to your next marker. And here's where I discovered, hey, I can cast while on horseback. Should have been obvious, but I didn't know. Using unseen form is very convenient on horseback because you don't have to worry about any enemies aggroing on you. So investing in 16 intelligence to use it, not that big of a commitment, and it's worth it. Kind of got turned around here. I was headed back the way I came, and then I realized, I was like, where am I going? This is not the right way. So, no, I'm going the wrong direction. I want to go up there, not down to where I was headed. You just got to find the path up. Just remember where you went. We're going to cast Unseen Form here. There's Crystallians about. And now we've arrived. Once you see this spirit spring, you'll see there's a turtle way up in the sky. Now, if you fast travel, this turtle will not be here. This is the one that glitched on me. We're just going to aim and fire. And now we can go back to the rise and get our prize. Unfortunately, I lost the footage of me collecting Ronnie's Dark Moon from that rise, but all you have to do is go back to the rise and collect it. It's not a big deal. Now for this next section, you're definitely going to want your Great Heal spell because there are revenants about and they will murder you in seconds. I'm putting on the cat ring just because I don't want to take fall damage. And we're going to want the Crepus Vial for sure. You don't have to have Mesricord, but it is nice to have if you get in position to critical attack one of the Revenants. Now, Margaret Shackle will also be used here. This is where we went down to propose to Ronnie, if you don't remember. But I'm going to go ahead and mark these areas on the map. These are the relevant items that we want to get. 3 main items. There are other items in the area, but these are the 3 main ones you want to get. We're just going to mark all of them for easy access. There's a quick way to get down here. This is why I put on the cat ring. But you will take fall damage usually right here. We're going to head in this direction towards the Lunar estate. Now be very careful. The revenants are about. Your first encounter will be right here. We're going to go ahead and get off Torrent and get ready to cast Great Heal. As soon as you see it spawn and you want to go ahead and cast, it'll immediately get stunned, but if you catch it while it's going underground, it might appear behind you like it did me here. Just keep casting as soon as you can. Always make sure your FP is topped up so you don't have to worry about being in a terrible situation where you can't cast it and then you'll be dead in seconds. But here's your first item here. It's hidden by an illusionary floor, but if you use Margit Shackle, you can reveal it. And down here are 3 more Smithing Stone 8s. Very nice to have. Now our next area will house a talisman, but you'll need a stone sword key to get to it. There's no more items in this area of relevance, so just head to the next marker. But be very wary because very close to that marker is another revenant, and you'll want to have Great Heal available. But right here is our next item. You can actually use Great Heal as well to unveil passages. I didn't know that. But why waste FP? Down here is your talisman. Very close by is the next revenant. Now this one will be unaware of your presence if you approach from this position, and I kind of panicked and started casting like crazy thinking it was going to charge me, but it is unaware of your presence right here. If you have Crepus Vial on like I do, you won't alert it because it's got its back to you. I realized it wasn't a threat until I've already cast twice, but make sure you're in range. Sometimes you can get a critical if you get to the front fast enough, but I didn't here. But just keep casting and you'll kill it. It'll take a minimum of 2 casts. Now this next area is very similar to King's Realm in Liurny of the Lakes, and you don't want to go in there and get pelted by 1,000 bolts, so we're going to use Unseen Form and just run in and get what we want. But right here, you'll also have some enemy spawn. We're just going to use Giant's Red Braid's attack and deal with them. But yeah, the King's Realm area where those invisible sorcerers were, this next area we're going to is just like that. But we're going to try to avoid as many as we can. I would not approach from the front. Your item is in the back anyway. The Moonfolk Ruins. We're going to go ahead and use Margit Shackle to activate all of the traps in here. But by doing so, you'll also alert the sorcerers. But that's okay. There's some items up here before we're going to get our main item. Using Unseen Form will help you avoid some detection here. Yet another illusionary floor, and you'll go down and you'll get another somber 8. Now we're done with this area. We're moving to Caelid now. We're going to start off in the minor Erdtree Catacombs. We came here very early on to get some grave glovewort. So it's just after the Smoldering Church and the Erdtree Avatar. Let's go ahead and sit at the Grace. We need to redo our physics flask. We want magic for this. Magic tier and your dexterity tier. This is for the boss. This is another imp catacomb, so you're going to want the Glintstone Kris because it one-shots them. You're also going to want the Nox Flowing Sword. And I'm going to use the Ghost Torch again because it lights up the area very nicely. We'll use the Axe Talisman because we're going to be using pots. The Fire Scorpion Charm for the Volcano pots. And most importantly, Crystal Darts. Make sure you have Crystal Darts available. Yeah, the Ghost Flame Torch is going to be our go-to for these catacombs now. Just because it just shows the area more clearly, especially with these imps that love to hang out on ceilings like this. So I'll be highlighting where they're camped out, and then we'll just one-shot them with the Glintstone Kris. Now after we ride this lift down, we're going to turn around and head in this direction. We want to go ahead and clear out some imps that are camped out up top. We don't want to deal with them later, so we're going to deal with them now from a safer spot here. Just stick to the left. You can lock on to these 2 imps here and just one-shot them. I'm going to drop back a little bit and wait for these slugs to fall down from the ceiling. And just end them with some volcano pots. A couple of throws ought to do it. Go ahead and trigger the lift to go back up because you're going to need to drop down the hole later. There's one imp down here. Go ahead and lock onto him. Now there's an imp on patrol here. He's already going to be on patrol and on alert status, as you can see. Just lock onto him and quickly end him. But there's another imp here. You want to go ahead and lock onto him before moving forward because he's going to be on the attack right away. But the Glintstone Kris has good tracking. Now we're going to switch to our Nox Flowing Sword so we can kill this imp that's ready to attack immediately. Get him. There's another imp hanging out on the ceiling here. Again, we can use the torch to highlight where he is. Very sneaky little boogers. And this area is clear. Here's your lever to unlock the boss room. Now we need to head down the hole where the lift was. That's the whole gimmick to this catacombs, is this area is a little bit hidden. But you should know by now. Now there's an imp on patrol down there. I was trying to get a good ambush on him, but I couldn't. So I just had to drop down and hope for the best here. You can use Glintstone Kris if you get a good angle, but I just could not get the angle here for the life of me. So I just decided to drop down and end him anyway. But you can shoot him if you're patient enough. I just grew impatient trying to get the lock here. And the way forward to the boss is straight ahead, but we want to go to the right. But first we're going to end some more of these slugs. Volcano pots for the win here. And then to the right here, there's some crabs about for some reason. Once we get to the top of this ladder, there'll be a couple of imps in this next room. One is very clever because he's right to the left of you. Go ahead and one-shot this one, but go ahead and be careful here. As soon as you pass him, he'll come behind you. There'll be one more imp that comes down from the ceiling. Just one-shot him. And you'll get an imp head here. Interestingly enough, we already got this from a random drop earlier. Now remember, we already dealt with the 2 imps up here, so we don't have to deal with them now. But had you not done that, you'll have to deal with them. Now we're headed towards the boss. Just drop down the hole. And this time we're going to head straight. There's one more slug waiting to ambush from above. So if we go to the right side over here, we can get a lock on. Just throw a pot. We know all of the From Software tricks by now. Now for the boss. This is a pair of Erdtree burial dogs. These are very annoying bosses, especially when you have to fight 2 of them at the same time. But we have crystal darts. So what we're going to do is throw 4 of them at the one on the left. It's going to make the one on the right turn on the one on the left. And while that's happening, we'll be charging up a glintstone crisp bolt to the one on the left, and it's going to penetrate both of them and pretty much end the fight early. But we'll want the Godfrey icon and the magic scorpion charm for maximum glintstone crisp damage. And of course, the physics flask has magic as well. This fight will be over before it even starts. Just lock onto the one on the left and throw 4 darts. The one on the right will aggro on him. Just charge up a fully charged glintstone crisp, and the next one will end the fight. Game over. I don't think it gets much easier than that, guys. You'll get the Mad Pumpkin Head Ashes. Now our next location is the Rotview Balcony in Caelid. Let's go ahead and sit at the Grace, and we're going to redo our physics flask. We want our fire back, so we're going to go fire and strength. And we're going to be using a pot throwing setup for the boss, so let's go ahead and craft some pots. You'll want the Giant's Flame Fire Pot, at least 2 of them. You'll need 2 at least. Then you'll want some volcano pots. We're going to redo our whip setup for this area. So Yurumi and then the Giant's Red Braid. We want it just like this. And we still need magic damage for this first section. We are going to switch to complete fire damage for the boss. Just do a 180 and come back here. There'll be a putrid corpse wandering about. You just jump attack him. We're going to switch to our Giant's Red Braid to take this one out. This one's exclusively weak to fire. And there's a putrid corpse just hanging out right here. Now the reason we're switching to the Yurumi here is because we've outfitted it with Hoarfrost Stomp. And their enemies in here are not weak to fire, but they're weak to frost. Turn around and you'll see there's an ambush coming. We're going to use Hoarfrost Stomp twice. Very effective. There's an arterial leaf up here. You'll definitely want that. The arterial leaves will become very relevant soon. Very relevant. We're going to start using these materials up. So make sure you get them anytime you see them. You do not have to do this next section the way I'm doing it. You can completely ignore these putrid corpses, and I highly recommend you do. I just can't help myself. I have to go Terminator mode and kill everything on the map. So just ignore what I'm doing here. If you don't want to fight these, you don't have to. But it's just too much fun to use my whip here. And I can just take out multiple at a time. But they will grab you. But you feel free to ignore this part. I just can't help myself. You're not going to gain too much from this anyway. But it's just fun to use the whip. Even without the FP, you can still do your twirl here. Now switch to your glintstone kris. You'll definitely need it here. You don't need the beast torch if you go exactly where I go here. You don't want to aggro the Caelid dogs, but they're too busy eating to acknowledge your presence here. Just get off about right here. Lock on to the dog just ahead of you, and you'll penetrate both targets and take them all out at once. Then you want to turn and take out this scarab, and you'll get the whirl of flame. Don't worry about the carriage right now. We'll loot it shortly. But we want to get rid of all the Caelid dogs so they don't get alerted to our presence. Now here's the crow. These crows are very deadly, but with our glintstone kris set up, they'll die in 2 shots. By the time they know what's going on, we've already unleashed the second shot. Area clear. We'll loot the camp for a rune arc. Now we'll go loot the carriage. Now I am aware that I missed a carriage in Liurnia of the Lakes. I will go back to get it later. I haven't forgotten about it. But let's go ahead and loot this one to get the great sword. It's a fan favorite sword here. A lot of people like to come straight to Caelid to get it. We don't have to kill this Caelid dog, but we're doing it for funsies. Now for the ruins section. It's pretty straightforward. However, we're going to clear it out strategically. But there are these flaming chariots that are about. But here's the area on the map. That's the boss area. You can go straight to it if you want and dodge all the enemies. But of course, I like to clear everything out, so that's what we're going to do. As soon as you see the first chariot on the right here, get off of Torrent and get your Rumi out and get Hoarfrost Stomp ready to go. These piles of fire here will spawn these putrid corpses that are on fire. So as you can imagine, our fire whips aren't going to do too much against them. But the Yorumi will do great damage with the Hoarfrost Stomp. You can actually lock on and get them from a different elevation as well, as you can see here. Very effective crowd control. Now we're going to go get this carriage here. I missed this item here. I forgot what it was. It wasn't too relevant. I guess I'll get it later if I have to. You want to backstab this guy. Now, bear in mind, the Giant's Flame Pot has materials that you can only get in the mountaintops of the Giants, right? But these chariots actually drop them. So you could come here and farm them if you want early game Giant's Flame Pots. And it's the only ingredient of it that you need. So very effective early game pots here. Again, we're just going to wait for them to spawn in and just Hoarfrost Stomp for the win. They just fall before us. There's no better way of taking out groups of putrid corpses on fire. We're almost there, guys. We just got a chariot to kill and another group of putrid corpses on fire. First thing we want to do is take out the chariot. Just wait for the chariot to turn its head to the right, then you can sneak up on it on the left side. Just don't go too far to the left because the putrid corpses will rise up from that fire there. But we'll deal with them shortly. One quick backstab. Now some more Hoarfrost fun. Now for the boss. The boss has 2 pumpkin heads. So we want to use pot throwing damage because they have great armor on their heads, but with the pots, they can't really do too much against it. Alright, let's go over our setup. First we're going to want the jellyfish shield. We're going to want our jar head, the fire scorpion charm, axe talisman, and we're going to aim for the first pumpkin on the left first because he is in a sitting position. We'll be able to get 2 pot throws and kill him instantly. The one on the right, however, will have already gotten up from his position, so he'll be coming at us. We'll use volcano pots for him. So once we buff and everything, just aim for the left. You'll get 2 throws off before he's even aware of what's going on, and he'll be dead. Now we'll just dodge and get ready to attack the other one with volcano pots. It'll only take a few throws with all these buffs. And that's it. For our efforts, we will get a shield that spews fire. It's basically the same thing in front of those chariots. Pretty fun weapon to use, I must say. We're not going to use it in our playthrough, but it is a fun weapon, or defensive slash offensive weapon. Onwards. We're going to get an item that we missed in the abandoned cave. Alright, in the abandoned cave, we will need something with quick step. And I have that by default on the claws that you get in the Stormville Castle. The hook claws. We're also gearing up for the next section ahead of time as well. I have the no skill on my beast torch, so I can use the torch and still use quick step. The immunizing charm +1 will help with the rot, and we're using the Crepus Vial for the next section. Unfortunately, I could not avoid taking damage from the rot here. For the first section, yes, but the second section that I tried to get some Aeolian butterflies from, I just couldn't figure out a way, or I just didn't think it was worth my time. So a little bit of damage from the rot here, unfortunately. I try to make these as no damage videos, but I had to take some chip damage there from the rot, and I'm still going to take some more on the way back. There might be a way, I just didn't want to spend too much time trying to figure it out. But the next item that we're going to get is the Serpent Bow. This is one of my favorite bows in the game. I actually am running an Assassin's build, and this is my favorite bow to use for that. If you equip it with the Serpent arrows, you can pretty much proc a deadly poison almost immediately. And then you combine that with the Rot Exaltation, and you can do some pretty significant damage and set it up, set up big enemies to take a lot more damage. But here it is right here. I was trying to avoid the rot, but I just said, screw it, let's just get it and get out of here. We'll heal up. Now, I want to come in here because there are so many butterflies that we left behind, and they are very precious items, and you'll be using them, trust me. There is a way to farm them now that we've got access to the Lake of Rot, but the more free ones we get, the better. I'm just using Unseen Form to avoid aggro from those enemies up top that like to spew poison from their staves. But get these butterflies, and let's go ahead and end them. And onwards to the next section. Now we're going to go to Fort Gael and clear it out. So we're going to go to the Fort Gael north side of Grace. We've already been here. We came here earlier to get the Catar weapon and the Ash of War Flame of the Redmanes. But now, let's go ahead and redo our setup. We're going stealth here. We'll want the Misericord for sure, the Crepus Vial, and the Concealing Veil. Arbalest is not that necessary, but you can use it. You want to get up on this trunk and follow it upwards. Use your Unseen Form for sure, because if you don't, you're going to aggro the archer that's the most annoying enemy in this area, and he will spew rains and rains of arrows at you. So let's just go ahead and deal with him first. Reapply Unseen Form every time. Let's go ahead and reapply. If he so much as catches a glimpse of you, he's going to spew unlimited amounts of arrows at you, and it's just very annoying to deal with. We'll wait for this guy to come back on his patrol route. You don't want to go too far up because the archer will see you. And those arrows can go through walls as well. So dealing with that archer is the first priority. Reapply again, and we're going to go deal with him. we'll use the Misericord with the Royal Knight's Resolve, because if you don't use Royal Knight's Resolve, he's not going to die in one stab. You have to use Royal Knight's Resolve here. Make sure he's dead. Now that the biggest threat of the area has been dealt with, we can just clear it out methodically here. We'll backstab this guy. He's unaware. Now we'll get our whip out. And we'll just sneak up on a group and use the Giant's Red Braids Flame Dance. There'll be 3 enemies just standing there. Of course, we can always use more cover if we want. But you don't have to use Unseen Form here. Those enemies are dealt with. Now this next enemy is sitting up against some jars, so you can't get a backstab unless you destroy the jars. But that's not going to stop us. So we'll just roll through the jars and then get the backstab. Now positioning is very important for this next guy. This guy right here, he's on patrol. Do not attack him until he stops his patrol. If you attack him anywhere before then, the enemies in the camp will come at you. Wait until he stops. He's the one with the horn as well. You want to take him out first. Now there's an enemy that's hidden here to the right. But we're going to go ahead and use Flame Dance. Sometimes you can take him out at once. Unfortunately, we didn't get him this time. But before he knows what's happening, he'll be dead. We're going to continue on, and there's another tent area here, and another guy just sitting against some barrels. Same thing as before. There are some more enemies here. Here's where we're going to use the Arbalest, because I didn't want to aggro those other 2 guys, but it seemed like I was aggroing them way too often, so I used the Arbalest to snipe from distance. I tried backstabbing him, and it just didn't work out. But for some reason, the Arbalest does not alert the other 2. But I had to use a little bit of Golden Vow there to get enough damage to kill him with 1 shot. Now we're going to sneak up behind and do our favorite whip move. Take out these guys. You may alert the chariot, you may not. Now you want to get Misericord out and drop on top of the chariot and instantly kill it. By doing this, you'll alert some more enemies that will come at the chariot, but the chariot will explode, in turn killing those enemies. You might have a few stragglers like this one, who's trying to figure out what's going on. Just end him quickly. Now, I couldn't figure out an easy way to do this section. It's kind of a sloppy area here. But you can snipe these guys from distance if you want. You can just do whatever you want. I didn't really do this in a strategic manner. There's no really way to do it. You can use Jar Cannon if you want, but you can get 2 for 1 sometimes. But there's just a lot of enemies here. You can use the Nox Flowing Sword through these walls to take them out as well. But this is the guy on the left here. I always want to take him out first because he's in the most flanked position here. If you backstab him, the other ones will be alerted. You can use pots. You can do whatever you want. Pots would have been a good thing to use here. But I didn't do this in a very good manner. But like I said, they're not hard to kill. Just whatever you want to use. But like I said, you can use the Nox Flowing Sword through these walls, or the Giant's Red Braids attack will do it as well. And I think we're going to demonstrate that here. Or not, we're just going to backstab him, I guess. You can use the Giant's Red Braids Flame Dance through those walls, though. Alright, area clear. Now for Lieutenant to have some fun. We're going to use Lieutenant to take out the Elder Lion for us while we're looting another section. The Elder Lion is very agile and he will dodge most of your projectiles. But with Lieutenant, he can't dodge those projectiles. It hones in on him and he has no chance whatsoever. So as long as we position Lieutenant in a good position, she'll be able to take out the Elder Lion with no problems. But I do recommend having your unseen form as you're going up the ladder. You don't want to aggro the lion just yet. And killing this Elder Lion is very beneficial because it has one of the best Ashes of War in the entire game, a Lion's Claw. You can trivialize the game with this Ash of War, actually. We're just going to get a quick backstab on this guy, and then we're going to position Lieutenant. What I like to do is just walk on this plank. About right here, summon Lieutenant. And she'll just fire away. Now we're going to go deal with another section while she's having some fun. We're going to go unseen form here. There are multiple enemies in this section. I like to take the guy on the left first. When you backstab this guy, the guy will come investigate. But as long as you have unseen form, he won't know what's going on right away. You can see he did get aggroed on us, but that's okay. We want to deal with these two before the big dude comes. Here's the big dude. And of course, Royal Knight's Resolve is useful here. One more backstab. There's a chest right behind us, but we're going to go check on Lieutenant to see how she's doing. There's a teleporter up there that will take you in front of Redmane Castle. We're not going to do Redmane Castle in this episode, though. So she's having some fun, as you can see. It'll be over soon. Now we can go loot this chest for a talisman. And just enjoy the show. Again, I will reiterate. Dark Souls games do not need an easy mode. How easy is this, guys? I mean, like, I'm not even fighting this thing. And you'll get the Lion's Claw. One of the best Ashes of War in this entire game, I must say. Am I going to use it? Maybe. I haven't decided yet. Now we're going back to the town of Sellia, the town of sorcery, because we need to get another imbued sword key so we can go back to Liurnia of the Lakes and unlock the rest of those teleporters. And we're just, I was deciding where to go, I guess. I don't know what I was doing on the map here. But we want to go to Sellia. But we don't want to go to where I go on the map here. You want to go to where you fought the boss to get the Nox Flowing Sword. So this is the wrong Grace on the map, but I'm going to spawn in a different Grace. Just remember it's where you fought the 2 Nox warriors. As far as the loadout goes, you don't need much here. We're just getting the items that we didn't get before that were blocked by seals. But we are going to go ahead and get ready for one of our next areas. So we're going to use Giant's Flame Pots to take out a Crucible Knight. They're very weak to fire, and pots are very useful against the Crucible Knights, especially the Volcano Pots, after they put their shield up. But from here, you'll want to take a left. Unseen Form will be a godsend here, because the sorcerers are invisible. And with this, you'll be able to see them, and they won't aggro on you. But here we're just going to kill this guy first. Get the butterfly. This broken down carriage thing here. I'm going to go over here, and here's the imbued sword key. The first of 3 items we're going to get. I didn't get the painting. We'll get that later. I did miss a few things. I'm not perfect, guys, but I do remember when I didn't get something. There is a painting we'll need to get as well, but we'll have to come back to get it later. Important to come back here because there is a Miquella's Lily back here. These will become very relevant later. We can use those to craft bewitching branches. Now we're on to the next item. Just a recast unseen form to run freely through here with little to no aggro on you here. Plus we can come from behind this guy. There are multiple sorcerers on the staircase here though. We can get the drop on them from the safety of unseen form. Before they know what's going on, we've already killed them. Do a loop around here to get our next item. Night Comet Sorcery. There's one more item over here. I probably should have just used my Giant's Red Braid here. Didn't do it. Could have taken both guys out at once. You'll get the Spelled Drake Talisman. Now, let's head back to Liurnia of the Lakes to use our remaining imbued stone sword keys. I'm going to go to the Four Belfries side of Grace. And we're going to get our pot throwing setup ready because there is a Crucible Knight, rather tanky. And I have found that fire goes through their armor and pots are effective at distance. You don't have to engage in melee combat. These guys do a lot of poise damage, and then they follow up with an attack and you're dead, dead, dead. So let's just get our pot throwing set up here. Jellyfish Shield, Jarhead, Axe Talisman, Fire Scorpion Charm. You know the drill by now. Until we complete Alexander's quest, we can't get our other talisman that's going to increase pot damage even further. So, but for now this will suffice. We can drop down here relatively safely. And we'll be right on top of our portal. Like I said, the lone enemy in Nokron Eternal City here is a Crucible Knight. You don't even have to fight him. But of course you know me. I have to kill everything on the map. I don't know why I have this mentality, but let's just go ahead and kill him. He's got his back to you, so you can get the drop on him easily. But you just want to head over here and get your prize. There's also some Ghost Glove Ward around. Yeah, right here you can just get out. Get the modded necklace and get out of here. But unfortunately, like I said, and I am switching the seal here. It's a better seal now. We're just going to buff like we're fighting a boss. And we're going to take this guy out. Again, feel free to skip this section. But I just like to kill everything. I guess I just want the runes too. I don't know. I can't help myself. But it's a good showcase again to take out Crucible Knights. They are a very tough enemy. Even with his shield up, we're still going to cause quite a bit of damage to him. At least 300 damage with our buffs. But if his shield is down, he's pretty much going to be getting at least 600 damage or more. And that's it. We're putting on the cat ring because we're going to have a rather large drop on the next section. Going back to the Four Belfries. And we're going to our final portal. The Crumbling Faramazula. An area we are not going to for quite a while. But this is a closed off section. I'm using Concealing Veil here just for safety. We do not want to aggro the beastmen that are about. We just want to get the item and get out of here. You'll need to go down the hill here to this final portal. We're not quite done with Liurnia. I did miss a few things, like I said, and we'll do that in the next episode. But I am trying to wrap up Liurnia pretty soon. Crumbling Farum Azula. Such a striking visual here. From Software always has that oh my goodness moment. You just look out and see the greatness. Just want to drop down here. I think this is the drop that will give you fall damage. Yep. But with the cat ring, we will take no damage. We're going to go stealth here. We do not want to aggro those beastmen to the left. They're very strong enemies for this area. Let's just get the Pearl Drake Talisman, and that'll be a wrap. Now for our next area. We're going to go take out some Knights Cavalry to end the episode. The first Knights Cavalry will go down with holy damage, but we're going to change it up for the final one that's a little more tanky. And a lot of people cheese this last one, but we're going to do it a different way. You don't need the holy pots. It's just another way to cause damage to the horse. You want to go to the Highway South side of Grace in Caelid. This Knights Cavalry will be patrolling on this road here. So the gist is to use holy damage against the horse, enough to kill the horse, and then the Knights Cavalry will be on his back, and of course you know what's coming then. A critical, and he's pretty much over with. Make sure it's nighttime. It's already nighttime for us, so we're just going to go ahead and put on our holy and our faith tiers here. The one in Dragonbarrow is more scaled, highly scaled, so we have to use a different setup for that one. And I had to turn the graphics setting down for that last one because the rain was tanking my performance so badly. I have a very old PC, guys. I really do need to upgrade at some point. But right here, we're just going to stop and wait for the Knights Cavalry. Go ahead and start buffing. He'll pass us. We just get behind him. But the Sacred Blade on our falchion will make short work of this Knights Cavalry. Again, always attack the horse first. One Sacred Blade here. It should only take about 2 Sacred Blades. Usually after he whiffs on an attack, you can go in for one. I didn't get the critical here, but just wail on him if you didn't get the critical, and it's over. Easy peasy. You'll get one of the better poison Ashavors in the game. But there are going to be so many ways we can inflict poison, it's not even funny. So now, onward to Dragonbarrow. This is the one that people love to cheese. They get this guy to jump off the cliff, and pretty much I could have done that too, but I just wanted to be a little different here. So we're going to go with our stamina tier and our thorny cracked tier. We're going with our seppuku setup, our bleed setup here. Dual wielding our blood falchions. Basically, to kill these Knights Cavalries, once you see him whiff on one of his attacks, go in for a quick attack and then get back out again, out of range of his long attacks, because you don't want to get caught with that or the headbutt that the horse does to you. They'll always try to follow up with a headbutt. And if there is some lag here, I do apologize. I had to mess with the settings. I just could not get the lag to stop in this rainy area. It was just absolutely tanking my performance. I'm just putting on Unseen Form here to avoid the militiamen because they will come at you. You can drop down on this tree here. And you'll be right at the bridge. Like I said, a lot of people like to cheese this guy and to get him to jump off. And there is a way to do it, but I'm just going to do it differently. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use all our buffs. I don't want to do it just yet, but you want to get him, usually, technically, you want to get him from behind, but I just wanted to go ahead and get this fight over with because I was really struggling with this fight because of the performance. But once I did my settings and changed them, I did it first try. So yeah, it was really bad performance here. I'm gonna eat some pickled turtleneck to make it even easier. Again, we're just gonna target the horse. So we're just gonna back up, wait for him to whiff. Then we'll just wait for our chance to get him. Usually when he whiffs like that, we can come in. But with all of our bleed setups, it's not going to take many hits to kill the horse. But when he's dragging his axle on the ground, you want to run away and then dodge. If you don't run away, you'll probably get hit. Just be patient. Wait till he whiffs. Go in with a running attack. I don't know how I get hit there. And he's gone. We'll do a quick critical. Or not. If you can get the critical, it's good, but sometimes you can't. Alright guys, that's it. We're going to go ahead and hit this grace for this tower here. You'll get the Bloodhound Step. One of the better Ashes of War in the game for evasion. I don't know why I'm marking that on the map. Actually, I'm not. But there's a rise up here. This is where we will end the episode. The beginning of the next episode, we'll go back to Liurny of the Lakes to get that carriage that I missed. I'll see you guys there.